In this tutorial, we show you how to create an animated flag like this using physics. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Alright, the first thing you want to do is select your default cube, press X and delete it. Then press Shift A, Mesh, and we're going to make use of a plane. Select the plane, press numpad 1, press R to rotate this plane, press X to rotate on the X axis, and type in 90 to rotate it 90 degrees. Once you've done that, press G to grab, Z on the Z axis, and just type in 8. Once you've done that, go over here and press Tab to go into edit mode. And in my case, I have a certain setting set here. In key maps, I've turned on Tab for Pi menu. You might not have it on, so you go straight into edit mode, but I have to press Tab and move the mouse to edit mode. Once you've done that, press GX1. Then press Tab to go into object mode. GX1, click, and then Tab to go into object mode. And now our center of our mesh is at the edge here, which is great because when we press S to scale this, X on the X axis, and we type in 1.5, it scales quite nicely from that blue line. And obviously the dimension of this, if we press N, it's 3:2, which is perfect. So what that tells us is, if we press Tab and go to edit mode and hover over here and press Control R, at the bottom left hand corner of your screen, you can, when you scroll up, you can see it says number of cuts 4, 5, 6. Hopefully you can see that bottom left corner of your screen. You want to scroll this all the way up until it says number of cuts 25 till it says 30. Click, right click. Go to the side here, Control R, scroll up. Number of cuts need to say 20 over here because it's 3:2. There we go. Click, right click. And there we go. We've got all these beautiful cuts for a much cleaner simulation. In object mode, this is how it looks. We can now add a physics properties called cloth. And there's a few things we want to change. We possibly want to change the weight of this to maybe 0.15. And another thing we possibly want to change, let's scroll down here. Number one is the shape. We need to create pen groups because currently when we press spacebar to play, it just goes down, which is no good. So let's go back to frame 1, press Tab, go into edit mode, press 3 to choose face select, hold in Shift and select the top point here and the bottom point here, and we want to pin these points. The way to do that is to go to Object Data Properties, create a new vertex group, name this vertex group, I guess, pinpoints for your flag. You can even call it, I guess, flag pinpoints. So this is the part of the flag that will be attached to a pole, for example. Once you've got that, you want to click Assign, and then we're going to go back to the physics properties. Now that you've got that, we're going to scroll down to Shape and select Flag Pinpoints. And I'm quite happy with that. The other thing you want to do is go to Collision, turn on Self Collision for a slightly better result, and perhaps change this distance to 0.02 for a slightly better result. Now, when we press Tab to go into object mode and we press Spacebar, it's giving a much better, let's right click, shade smooth. It's giving a much better look of the flag. It's not intercepting or interweaving with each other. It's looking a lot more realistic. So I'm quite happy with that. Right, the next thing we want to do is press Shift A. You want to go down to Force Field and choose Wind. Then press G, bring this here, R, chuck it, I don't know, something like that. Choose an angle that you like. And change the strength of the wind to 1000. And once you've done that, press spacebar to press play and see how it looks. Catches quite nicely. I'm just going to go back to frame 1 and just kind of play around with this, see what angle works best for you. Rotate this, trying to rotate it straight. And spacebar, and just like that we've got a beautiful flag that flows in the wind, which I'm quite happy with. Right, so I'm going to just chuck all of this stuff, the wind as well as this plane, which we're going to rename flag. I'm going to chuck it into a new collection called, I guess, flag. and I'm going to ignore that collection, and I'm going to create a new collection called flag pole. And all I'm going to do now is press Shift A, mesh. We're going to make use of primarily a cylinder, and we can choose the amount of cuts that we like. 32 should be enough, but I'm going to go crazy and make it 64. No, I'm going to make it even less. I'm going to make it 18. Yep, that's what I want. Right click, shade smooth, object edit properties, normals, auto smooth at 30. Press G, or actually press tab to go into edit mode, then press GZ1, click, tab to go into object mode. Now the starting point is at the bottom, which makes life a little bit easier for what we're about to do. So I'm going to press tab to go back into edit mode quickly. I'm going to press 3 to choose face select. I'm going to select this top face, press numpad 1 to be in front orthographic view, press G, Z, bring this down to about there, then press S, then press tab to go into, well, I don't actually have to press tab. What I'll do is I'll just choose wireframe mode, and what am I doing here? Object. I'm going to select everything, X-ray mode, edit mode, there we go. I'm going to select everything, and I'm just going to scale this on the X-axis, or just let's scale it on the Shift Z axis. By scaling on the Shift axis, it scales over the X and Y axis and not the Z axis. And we probably want to start off with something like that. Let's select the top part, numpad 1, G, Z, let's bring this down to about there. Now all we can do is just extrude. We can press I, bring this in, E to extrude, and to be honest, numpad 1, we could probably, if we want to be quick about this, G, Z, just lift this all the way up like this. And at the top here, we might want to go E, S, E, and then Control B, I guess, and then maybe scroll, and then press GZ and just bring it down, something like that. And let's choose turn X-ray mode off, tab to go into object mode, and we probably want to press, I'm going to turn X-ray mode on actually so I can see. I'm going to press G, Z, X, and just bring it out to about there, and that should do it. So now when we turn off X-ray mode, let's see if it looks right. We've created a beautiful flag, and the only thing left to do is the materials. So I mean, I can select this pole over here and just add a quick new material, and in this case, so Taurus kind of done. I'm just adding materials to it now. Let's try glossy gray. Let's change the material viewport, or render viewport. That could be interesting. Okay, I don't quite like that color, so we probably want to play around with this a little bit. Let's also change the lighting, because that's going to be a big factor in this. And change it to maybe, I don't know, 10. But what's important about this is that it needs to be glossy, and we can make this 0.2 to make it shine. And for the flag, we can just add an image. So all we need to do is click on the flag, click new material, and go down to base color and select image texture, and I'm going to download an image texture. Let's use this one over here, and I'm going to save image as, let's save it to my desktop, and I'm going to go back here. Ooh, was that an image? Don't think it was. Oh, damn it. Let's click on this. Click on this. Save image as. There we go. We've got a PNG. Perfect. Now we just click open. I guess downloads. This is the assumption where I should have looked where I saved. There we go, on the desktop. And we add flag. And just like that, we've got an American flag. And there's a few things we can do here to maybe make it look a little bit better. Let's try and what happens when we increase the roughness? I think that's important. The translucency, transmission we probably want to play with. Maybe make it 0.9 will make it. Let's try 0.1. It's probably a little bit more accurate. And yeah, I'm actually quite happy with this as it is. The next thing we want to do, just to improve the scene, I'm just going to add an HDRI image. You can get them at HDRI Haven, it's free. And I'm just going to take one I've already downloaded. Let's use one of some random city. And let's maybe make it a bit darker. 0.7. I don't know. Not a good HDR background, but you kind of get the idea. So, and then all you need to do now is maybe create a floor, which we'll do by pressing Shift A, Mesh, Plane, scale this puppy out, and give it a quick material. New material, and yeah, I guess I'm just gonna add I'm quite a fan of glossy materials. Just leave it at 0.5 like that. And then all I want to do is find an angle that looks cool. Press Ctrl Alt Numpad 0. Select your camera. Press G. And there we have it. And obviously we could mess with the render settings here if you want a much clearer result. Obviously I'm not going to render it out like this because I don't even have a graphics card. So I recommend you look at changing this to make it look a lot sharper in the rendered result. It was by default it was an 8. You can see it looks a bit, doesn't look as clean as 2. But yeah, I'm quite happy with this, and you can see on the shadows it's currently on. The shadows look too pixelated. If you turn this on, the shadows will look a lot cleaner. But I'm going to just leave it as is. I'm going to leave this on 8 for my render example. And you could play around with ambient bloom, screen space reflection, and ambient occlusion. But yeah, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I almost forgot to show you. Click on your flag, go to the physics properties and go to catch, and you need to bake in your simulation. Make sure it's set for 100 frames, and then you can just bake it in. And only once you've baked it in, then you should render it out. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.